the Vespa engine's considered to be a 3-port engine, one on either side and the top. And I must, because when I took the cylinder off, if I turn it around slightly there so you can see, where I've put the black marks on it, either side, I'm expecting the transfer ports to be there, and maybe I bought a dud cylinder. It's supposed to be an original cylinder, but hey ho, you never know, they're in the boxes, what can you do? The sleeve itself on here blocks off these ports. On the tuning kits, and maybe that's why I got myself in a bit of a tiz-was, on the tuning kits these are opened up, so you know you've actually got more transfers than you do on a standard barrel configuration, because these are blanked off by that skirt. The skirt goes in there right the way down and blocks off these two transfer ports. And why this one works, God only knows, to be honest with you, because you know, to me the cylinder, again, I'll have to do my measurements, but I think it's blocking that one as well. Or if it's not very widely open. I'll have to get me, like I say, measurements into there. You probably find that that's open, but again, only open to the charge that's coming from the piston. As the piston comes up, so what you've got, if I can try and get a bit more over, you've got the petrol comes in as a mixture on the top, gets compressed by the bottom, comes through, let me turn it around, so it's open now, so we'll have petrol coming in, the crankshaft then rotates, the back of the piston forces the petrol forward and air mixture up the inside of the cylinder wall, and it's allowed to escape here but not on the side. What it's doing there, so that's charging, pre-charging before the two transfer ports on the side. Why they've done that, I haven't got a clue. On a Lambretta, there'd be the transfer ports that open up, so they'd be in line with the transfer ports in the cylinder, which you can see, hopefully you can see in the side wall there. I'll try and get some more light onto it. Unfortunately, the camera screen has gone off while I'm trying to show you this, but bring the camera up a bit and hopefully you can see transfer ports there. So the piston itself comes up, puts the charge through the lower transfer, and it comes out the front of the piston, and as the piston comes up, then it compresses the mixture, goes to just before top dead center and gets ignited. So why, you know, tuned up cylinders have got these ports on the side opened up and transfer in a completely different way, you know, through here and the side. You see them, some of the 225s and Molossi kits and that, this window here is massive, letting the charge come in from the two sides. So I don't know if that's any better than what Vespa have done or Piaggio have done for their porting, but I don't really know. It sort of threw me the other day when I was videoing it, when I pulled off the cylinder, because I'm looking at the back of it thinking, it's pretty mangled up now, but that's the original. Let me put the camera back on so I can see what I'm doing. That's the original gasket, and the black part you see there is obviously where the mixture's been blanked off from going through, so it can get around, but it can't get any further up. So in effect what they're doing there is they're sealing these two seals, transfer ports, sorry, the two side ones. They're leaving that one open, and they're relying on the charge coming up from the piston when it goes back to come around inside this cylinder sleeve inside here, and going past the two side transfers on the top, and then when the piston comes up being compressed and bang, and it pushes it back again, the cycle starts again. The hard thing for me to get my head around is why they didn't put the, you know, the transfer ports in line, so you've got less, if you like, less restrictions to the flow of the mixture. It can come down the side. The pistons do go quite a way in on Vespas. You see what I mean? It's right back in, so you do need a sleeve. But, you know, is that, if you had the two cutouts on the side like you have on the Molossi kits and what have you, so this is open, would it make a lot of difference if they ported through that way instead of relying on a piston? I don't really know. If anybody's got any ideas to that, you know, tuners out there that can help us, I'm always willing to learn why they blank them off, and yet the 150s and 125s, they still use these transfer ports with virtually the same engine. People will start arguing they're not the same engine, but they are. They're all based on the VBA, VBBs and rallies and all that sort of stuff, GL. Not the SS and the GS 160s. They've got a different engine completely, but most of the PX type stuff eliminate or originates from the VBA type range. So the first sort of new big range that Douglas made and Piaggio made and Moto Vespa, right up to the PX, basically have got the same engine on the swing arm. So I'm waffling on again, and I've been told to stop waffling, but next we're going to do is take off the electrics. So I'm just going to pause this while I get the bits and bobs ready, the puller and the holding tool, and then show you how to take the cables out, electrical cables that is. So I'm just going to pause for a minute. Right, on PXs it should have a little dust cover. Just preen it off with a screwdriver. And where's my little box gone? Beside me. Then we've got a holding tool even that needs to go there you go. Not a million, it's not tons and tons of tightness on it, but you must have a holding tool and you must have the removal tool as well. I'll put the screw back in there. Wipe up the floor. On removal tool, so you can see that basically check that down. What you need to do is make sure that it's screwed home all the way. So screw that in as much as you can onto the thread. After. Right, screw that till it's home, and then you sock it on there, tightening it up while holding it in place. There you go. You know it's gone because it becomes easy to move. So we can take the holding tool off like that. Continue to screw that in, and we can pull our flywheel off. And there's our flywheel off. You can leave the tool in there if you want to. I'll remove it. You just get your spanner onto it and remove it, and there's a washer. Don't lose the washer unless you're replacing it, of course. So we've got our flywheel off. Get the tools in with the screws. Then we've got 3 screws. What I suggest you do here is, if you're just rebuilding, get a pen and mark your timing. I'm going to go through again and retime the engine anyway, so it's not particularly important in this occasion, but the time from that position down there. There's one. Just got to make a little bit more room for myself.